Imagine for a moment that the you you've always dreamed of being already exists. That confident, radiant, fulfilled, and powerful version of yourself is not in some distant future, but waiting deep within your mind, ready to awaken. In this text, inspired by the timeless teachings of Joseph Murphy, you will discover how to reprogram your self-image in just 90 days and transform your reality from the inside out. Because true change doesn't begin with willpower. It begins with the power of thought. Every word, every affirmation, every principle you'll hear is a key. Keys that unlock the doors of your subconscious, where your ideal self is already created, waiting for your permission to manifest. Get ready for an inner journey that blends science, spirituality, and the boundless power of the mind, a journey toward the most extraordinary version of yourself. Your ideal self already exists. Now it's time to remember it. From the beginning of time, the great sages have taught that within every human being lies a hidden treasure. This is not gold or material wealth, but a far more powerful reality. The perfect image of yourself, planted by God deep within your subconscious mind. This is humanity's best-kept secret, and once discovered, it can change the course of your life forever. Imagine the parable of the hidden field. A humble man works the land, unaware that right beneath his feet lies a chest filled with jewels. Day after day he toils, battling the weather and scarcity, never suspecting the fortune that awaits him. This is how most people live, laboring, striving, struggling to move forward, without realizing that, deep within, the perfect, complete, and glorious image of their ideal self already exists. This hidden treasure is the inner vision that shapes everything you experience, feel, and achieve in life. Ask yourself these questions right now. Who do you believe you are at your core? What image of yourself do you hold when no one is watching? Do you see yourself as capable, worthy, loved, full of potential? Or have you been carrying for years the belief that you are limited, weak, or insufficient? The answer, silent yet powerful, is the compass of your destiny. Self-image is not a luxury, nor a decoration. It is the secret root of every outcome. Nothing changes on the outside without first changing on the inside. The Bible declares it clearly. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Genesis 1:27. What does this mean? That your true essence is divine, creative, and capable of reflecting health, love, peace, and prosperity. When you embrace this truth as your own, life responds with miracles. Let me tell you about a woman who had long been trapped by insecurity and sadness. For years, she believed she was unworthy of love and success. One day, she heard this teaching. You already are on the inner plane what you wish to become. She hesitated, but decided to try. Each night before going to sleep, she closed her eyes and imagined her ideal self, a confident, happy woman surrounded by love and success. She visualized her glowing face, her strong posture, her clear voice. She repeated this practice for weeks, persisting even when doubts returned. Slowly, things began to change. First her attitude, then her words, then her relationships. Soon, the outer world started reflecting her renewed inner image. She got a new job, her circle of friends grew, and she discovered talents within herself that she had never recognized. The treasure had been there all along, waiting to be discovered and claimed. Now I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. Imagine, even briefly, the best version of yourself, smiling, confident, fulfilled. Feel the peace of knowing that this image already exists, waiting for your acknowledgement. This will be your first seed of transformation. Remember always, the treasure is within you. Your ideal self already exists in your mind. The journey you are beginning is simply the art of discovering, accepting, and manifesting the greatness God has placed in you from the very beginning. Your ideal self already exists in your mind. Based on Joseph Murphy, we have noticed that more than 80% of those who visit our channel are not subscribed. You can support this project by pressing the subscribe button and liking the video. Thank you for inspiring us to keep creating more and better content for you. Are you ready to transform your life? Chapter 1. The Creative Principle of Self-Image. Right now, take a moment to pause and observe your surroundings. What you see, what you experience, the state of your relationships, your health, your achievements, and your limitations, they are all the visible fruits of an invisible root. The image you hold of yourself in the hidden garden of your mind. Everything external is a faithful reflection of the internal, like an unchanging mirror that projects without distortion. It is the mental seed you have sown and nurtured for years. Think of the experienced gardener. He does not expect to harvest grapes where he has planted thorns. He does not curse the soil for producing weeds when he himself has sown them. In the same way, your subconscious, this fertile and infallible field, accepts without question the seed of your self-image and multiplies it in the form of experience, whether of success or failure, joy or sorrow. Let me repeat it with all the force of the law. Nothing changes on the outside without first changing within. Your current reality is nothing more than the harvest of your thoughts and beliefs about yourself. If you long to transform your life, begin by transforming the image you hold of yourself in the creative repository of your subconscious. The mental law of personal image. The mental law is clear and admits no exceptions. The image you hold of yourself determines what you can be, do, or have. No destiny is stronger than the central idea you harbor about your worth, ability, and merit. You can never surpass the image you carry within. Change the image and the world will change. Insist on the old image and the world will insist on returning the same results. Jesus expressed it simply, "By their fruits you shall know them." In mental terms, by the results you manifest, you can know the seed you have planted. Do not blame your environment, luck, or your family. The field does not choose the seed. It is the sower who decides what will grow. Who do you really believe you are? This question is the gateway to all transformation. Who do you believe deep down that you are? Are you capable, worthy, deserving of success? Do you love your body, your mind, your story? Or do you see yourself as small, limited, unworthy, marked by failure? Your answer, more than anything else, creates your future. Many repeat positive phrases aloud, yet inside they still see themselves as the same failures they always were. And so, although they wish for prosperity, their self-image, the internal portrait, pushes them back to the same starting point. This is the mental law in action, a numerical example. Imagine a man who always earns $1,000 a month, no matter how many times he changes jobs or partners. No matter how hard he tries, the number repeats itself again and again. Why? Because that is the amount with which he identifies deep within. If he earns more, he soon loses it. If he earns less, he exerts extraordinary effort to return to the same average. His financial self-image acts like an invisible thermostat, regulating the temperature of his prosperity. Ask yourself this seriously. What invisible limit has my own mind imposed on me? What patterns keep me stuck? Observe your life honestly. Review those areas where, despite your efforts, you fail to advance. There you will find a limiting self-image, perhaps installed in childhood or reinforced by the words of others, acting as an iron guardian. Wishing alone is not enough, nor is constant prayer. Your subconscious obeys only the dominant image. You may recite affirmations for hours, but if deep in your heart you feel unworthy, that feeling will overpower any superficial declaration. Here is the first revealed secret. Your life will never be greater than the image you hold of yourself. Exercise the mirror of true reality. Tonight and every night for the next 7 days, stand before a mirror. Look at yourself without evasion, as if you were gazing at a dear friend who needs your help. This is not about judgment, but observation. Then quietly repeat, "I am made in the image and likeness of God. Within me dwells creative power, intelligence, and infinite beauty. Today I allow myself to see the perfect being I already am." Do this calmly. If you feel resistance, that is fine. It is a sign that the old image is surfacing. Persist. Your external reflection will begin to change only when your inner reflection is renewed. Analogy, the gardener and the seeds. Do not forget this comparison. Every thought you accept about yourself is a seed. Sow seeds of self-esteem, and you will harvest respect. Sow ideas of capability, and you will gather success. If you see yourself as weak, you will live surrounded by challenges demanding strength. If you see yourself as strong, your world will offer opportunities to exercise that power. The patient gardener does not doubt the process. He knows that if he sows today, waters tomorrow, and trusts the law, he will soon see the harvest. In the same way, your subconscious receives, processes, and produces. The law never fails. Story of the shy accountant. Let me share a real case. An accountant came to me seeking help. He was competent at his job, but shyness tormented him so much that he could not speak in public. Every time he had to present a report to his colleagues, his voice faltered and his mind went blank. What held him back was not a lack of knowledge, but the image of an insecure man, accepted since childhood when a teacher ridiculed him in front of the class. I explained the principle I share with you today. The exterior is only a reflection of the interior. I suggested he visualize every night speaking confidently, receiving applause, and feeling joy as he expressed himself. I insisted on the constant practice of the mirror of true reality. A few weeks passed. The man returned with a sparkle in his eyes and said, "I did it, Dr. Morphy. Last week I spoke before 30 people and felt incredible peace. For the first time, my voice flowed, and I received recognition from my colleagues. What happened? His inner image changed, and the outer life had no choice but to adjust." Are you ready to change your image? It does not matter how deep your limitation seems, nor how many years you have lived in its shadow. Today you can plant a new seed, practice the mirror exercise, and visualize with faith the ideal image of yourself. Remember, your self-image is the helm of your destiny. Sow the idea of your greatness, water the thought of your worth, and in due time you will harvest a renewed life. Begin today, the law never fails. Chapter 2, the spiritual science of the ideal self. Many people think that seeing themselves succeed is nothing more than a harmless fantasy. Nothing could be further from the truth. Self-image, the picture you see with the eyes of your mind, is not a baseless illusion, but the conscious use of a spiritual law as real and consistent as the law of gravity. Plant in your mind the image of your ideal self, and the divine, unchanging law will set into motion to manifest it in your experience. This is the spiritual science of the ideal self, and it works without exception. Faith, imagination, and manifestation. Science is nothing more than accepting as real what your mind conceives. Imagination is the workshop where you shape your destiny. Manifestation is simply harvesting what you first see and feel within. The Bible states, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." Proverbs 23:7. This does not refer to fleeting thoughts, but to the enduring image felt in the heart, which is the center of the subconscious mind. In Genesis, we are told God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Genesis 1:27. What does this mean in terms of the mental law? It means that your essential nature is creative, that you are a constant emitter of ideas and feelings, and that your outer life can be no greater or lesser than the image you hold of yourself. Imagine that you are a transmitter of invisible waves, like a radio sending a signal. If your signal is one of self-confidence, love, and capability, you will attract experiences in harmony with those vibrations. If your signal is fear, lack, or inferiority, you will attract the same. It is not punishment nor chance. It is spiritual science in operation. Modern science and mental vibration. Today, physics speaks of energy, vibration, and frequency. Every atom, every particle vibrates at a determined speed. In the same way, your thoughts and emotions emit a frequency, and that frequency determines what you attract and experience. Scientists have shown that solid matter does not truly exist, but rather fields of energy organized according to invisible patterns. Thus, your subconscious mind is the great organizer. What you imagine and accept, it turns into forms, facts, and results. Let me translate this into simple language. Your mind is like an electronic device. The image you hold is the program that broadcasts your signal to the universe. The spiritual law is the circuit that responds, bringing into your life what your image has commanded. Science and faith are not in conflict. They are two names for the same law, the law of mental creation. The Bible and the power of imagination. Jesus taught, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Mark 11:24. Here lies the secret. You must see and feel as real that which you desire before you experience it physically. To pray is to imagine with faith, not to beg fearfully. As Emmett Fox, a great master of the New Thought movement, said, "Your life is the reflection of your sustained thoughts with emotion. You cannot think weakness and expect strength. You cannot imagine defeat and reap victory." The Bible, science, and experience all agree. The image sustained in your mind is the mold of your destiny. Testimony, the mediocre student who changed his story. Let me illustrate this principle with a real story. A young man came to me, discouraged by his poor academic performance. From an early age, he was told he was not intelligent, that he was not cut out for studies. This image was engraved in his subconscious mind, and predictably, year after year, his grades confirmed the verdict. I taught him the power of nightly visualization. I asked him to close his eyes each night before sleeping and see himself receiving the best grades, hearing words of praise from his teachers, and feeling deep joy in learning. He had to feel the scene as real, knowing that what he imagines and accepts in the dream penetrates the subconscious more easily. Within a few weeks, his results began to improve. Months later, he was recognized as one of the top students in his group. He did not change the educational system, nor the difficulty of the exams. He changed the image he had of himself. The spiritual law, ever faithful, bore the fruit of the new seed he planted in his mind. Nightly visualization exercise. Today I invite you to do the same. Tonight and every night, dedicate 20 minutes to visualizing your ideal self. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and see in your mind the life you desire. Feel the joy, the peace, and the confidence of being that person. It does not matter if it feels strange at first. The important thing is to plant the seed. Your subconscious does not distinguish between reality and fantasy. It accepts what you accept and turns it into fact. Visualize in detail, see your posture, your voice, your daily actions, as if you are already that ideal being. Upon waking, repeat, "My inner image is law for my destiny." Parallel between electronics and mental vibration. Allow me to use a modern image. When you tune a radio station, you adjust the dial to an exact frequency. If you want to hear classical music, you do not insist on the news frequency. Likewise, if you desire success, health, or harmony, you must adjust your mind to the frequency of your ideal self. The subconscious mind is the perfect receiver. It receives and manifests faithfully the signal you, as the operator, determine. There is no randomness in this process. Just as electrons move according to precise laws, so your life obeys the laws of creative thought. Change the image and the vibration. Change the vibration, and the results will follow. Quote from Emmett Fox. I cannot close this chapter without reminding you of Emmett Fox's truth. The secret of all successful life is to imagine yourself in the situation you desire to live and persist in that image until it becomes real. There is no other way. Summary and call to action. Do not let the external world dictate your limits. Your self-image is a spiritual and scientific law. What you maintain in your mind, with faith and emotion, will manifest sooner or later. Practice nightly visualization of your ideal self. Read this chapter as many times as needed until the truth penetrates your heart. Remember, you are a creator by nature. Use your faith, your imagination, and your daily practice. Your ideal self already lives within, waiting to be revealed to the world. Take action today. The law never fails. Chapter 3. Diagnosing the old self. Before you can build a new house, it is necessary to clear the land. You cannot plant a rose in a field full of thorns. Likewise, for the ideal self to flourish in your life, you must first identify and remove the mental weeds that have kept you repeating the same results. These weeds are deep-seated beliefs, self-criticism, guilt, feelings of inferiority, and memories of past failures. Do not approach this diagnosis with fear or shame. The goal is not to condemn, but to illuminate. No one is judged for finding weeds in their field. What matters is discovering them so they can be replaced. Remember, what remains in the shadows secretly governs you. What you bring into the light loses its power over you. The inventory of the old self. Begin with a direct question. What do I truly think of myself when no one is watching? The honest answer may surprise you. Many people have spent years repeating inherited ideas. I am not enough. I do not deserve. I always fail. I will never change. These phrases, silently repeated, are decrees your subconscious mind takes as commands. Life, faithful to the law, will return experiences that confirm what you have accepted as your internal truth. Self-analysis questionnaire. Answer the following questions slowly and honestly. Can you write your responses in a notebook? The act of putting your beliefs into words brings them out of the subconscious well and gives you power to transform them. Deep down, do you feel less capable than others? Do you find yourself criticizing yourself, sometimes quietly, for past mistakes? Do you struggle to receive praise or acknowledge your own achievements? Do you hold on to memories of failures that still hurt, even after years? Do you feel guilt for something that happened in the past and believe you must atone for it? Do you believe that happiness or success are not for you, even though you desire them? Do you repeat phrases like, I can't, I'm not good enough, things always go wrong for me. Are you afraid to show yourself as you really are for fear of rejection? Do not look for someone to blame. Most of these ideas were planted by others, perhaps well-intentioned adults or painful childhood experiences. What matters is recognizing them now, so you can stop living under their shadow. Parable of the Doctor and the Hidden Wound. Let me share a simple yet revealing true story. A man visited a doctor who was also a wise counselor. The patient suffered chronic pain in his leg, but could not find a visible wound. He had tried all sorts of remedies without success. The doctor, instead of prescribing more medicine, asked him to recall the first time he felt that pain. After a moment of reflection, the man remembered a painful fall in childhood when he felt humiliated in front of other children. As the physical pain was remembered and acknowledged, it began to dissipate. The doctor explained, bringing the hidden cause to light allows healing to begin. The woman with weight issues. A woman wrote to me in desperation. She had tried every diet imaginable but always regained the lost weight. Together we explored her hidden beliefs. Soon, a truth emerged she had never spoken aloud. She felt unworthy of love and thought her weight was a shield to prevent rejection. Her overweight condition was not the main problem. It was the symptom of a belief in unworthiness planted many years earlier. I asked her to repeat daily in front of the mirror, I am worthy of love. My body expresses beauty and health. I release all mental and physical burdens from the past. Soon her body began to respond, not because of a diet, but because of the profound change in her inner image and belief. The symptom disappeared when the cause was illuminated and replaced. Stories from radio listeners. Over the years, I have received letters from radio listeners describing how the simple act of identifying a negative belief changed their lives. One woman, after decades of insecurity, discovered that a teacher's phrase, "You will never learn anything," had become a silent decree. Recognizing it, she affirmed the opposite and, for the first time, enrolled in a university course. A man who always lost job opportunities remembered his father saying, "No one in this family is lucky." He realized he was not cursed, but hypnotized by an inherited thought. Simply identifying and canceling that belief allowed opportunities to begin opening before him. Light, not condemnation. Diagnosing the old self is not judgment. It is an act of love. There is no guilt in recognizing what you did not consciously choose. Mental weeds are not a flaw in your soul, but remnants of unexamined thoughts. Today you have the privilege of observing them, thanking them for their purpose, protecting yourself, making sense of them, avoiding pain, and then releasing them, making fertile space for the ideal self. Every diagnosis is truly the first step toward freedom. Practical summary. Complete your self-analysis questionnaire. Recognize without condemnation the beliefs you no longer wish to hold. Tell your story as in the examples of the patient and the woman. Begin to illuminate the wound. Now I recognize this thought, I bless it, and I release it. I am ready to build a new image of myself. Every seed of self-awareness uproots a weed from the field. Every ray of light dissolves a shadow. This is how you prepare the ground for planting your ideal self. Remember, what you bring to light loses power over you. Illuminate your mind and the harvest will be new. Chapter 4. Constructing the Ideal Self. The time for conscious planting has arrived. Once you have diagnosed and released the weeds of the old self, the soil of your mind is ready to receive the powerful seed of your new identity. Constructing the ideal self is not a whimsical act, but a deliberate, sustained work filled with faith. Every great building begins with a clear blueprint. Your life is no different. Here you will learn to draw, with precision and love, the inner plan that will guide your outer destiny. Guided visualization, the art of planting the image. The subconscious responds to felt images, not to mere words. That is why nightly visualization is the first pillar in constructing your ideal self. I invite you to set aside 20 minutes each night before sleeping to practice this creative art. Nighttime is ideal because your conscious mind relaxes and the defenses of the old self lower, allowing the new image to be planted deeply. How to visualize: sit or lie down in a quiet space, close your eyes, breathe slowly and deeply, releasing any tension from the day. Imagine, as if watching a movie, the life you wish to live. Do not settle for vague images. Be detailed. If you desire confidence, see yourself speaking with assurance, moving gracefully, smiling, and receiving recognition from others. Do it in first person. See through your own eyes. Feel your voice strong, your posture upright, your gaze serene. Attach a strong emotion to the image. Feel the joy, peace, and healthy pride of living as your ideal self. Emotion is the water that makes the mental seed germinate. Use sensory images. Experience the inner scene fully. Your mind responds most powerfully to multisensory images. Employ all senses in your visualization. Sight. Observe colors, shapes, and surroundings. Hearing, hear your voice, applause, words of encouragement. Touch. Feel the texture of your clothing, the firmness of a handshake. Smell and taste. Add aromas or flavors if appropriate. Internal sensation. Feel the energy, the expansion in your chest, the lightness of your body. By living the inner scene with sensory richness, your subconscious accepts it as real and begins organizing life events to make it visible. How to overcome doubt? During the first days, doubt may arise. It is natural. The old self resists disappearing. Do not fight it. Observe it and return to the chosen image. Repeat calmly. Each night I plant a new seed. The mental law will do the rest. It is inevitable that what is planted will bear fruit. Doubt does not destroy the seeds. Continue sowing. Faith is acting even when absolute certainty has not yet arrived. Trust the process. The mental album writes your new identity. In addition to visualization, create a special notebook, your mental album. This notebook will be a living record of your ideal self. In it, write detailed descriptions of how you are, how you think, act, and feel in your new identity, always in the present tense. Example, I wake up each morning with energy and joy. I speak with confidence and serenity, and I enjoy harmonious relationships. My health is radiant. Money flows to me easily. I am worthy. I am capable. I am loved. You may add images, drawings, keywords, or symbols. Each night before visualizing, read a page from your album and let the written image awaken new emotions. Typography affirmation formula. Written affirmations in uppercase letters act as decrees to your subconscious. Repeat, after visualization and reading your album, affirmations such as, I am now the being I have always wished to be. My life reflects my new inner image. What I think and feel is true manifests in my reality. Remember, nightly repetition is key. Just as constant water wears away stone, persistent affirmation engraves the new image deeply into your being. Case of the failed salesman. Let me share a true story. A salesman, after years of failures and rejections, was about to give up his profession. Deep inside, he believed he was unworthy of success and not born to sell. I taught him the practice of nightly visualization and writing in his mental album. Every night, he visualized giving presentations confidently, signing contracts, and receiving generous commissions. He wrote phrases such as, I enjoy speaking with clients. My confidence inspires. Deals come easily. Money follows me and serves me. After 2 months, his sales tripled. Did the product change? No. Did the clients change? No. His inner image changed, and outer reality had to adjust to the new command. Practical summary. Dedicate 20 minutes each night to visualizing your ideal self with all senses. Create your mental album and write daily positive descriptions of your new identity. Read a page of your album before sleeping, then visualize the desired scene. Repeat powerful affirmations, aloud and in writing in uppercase if desired. When doubt arises, remember, a well-planted seed germinates even if the sprout is not yet visible. Persevere. There is no mystery or chance. Constructing your ideal self is a law of sowing and harvesting. Plant image, emotion, and word. Harvest life, achievement, and well-being. Every great change begins with a small act, repeated with faith. Start tonight, and the visible world will begin reflecting the perfect self already living within you. The law never fails. The power of the inner word, the word you speak internally, is a living seed. Just as a farmer decides the fruit to harvest by the seed he chooses, you decide your destiny through the seeds, the words you plant in your mind each day. Words are law for your subconscious. Your destiny, health, prosperity, and character are shaped by the decrees you repeat consciously or unconsciously. The Bible gives us an eternal key, for as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Here, heart means the deep repository of the subconscious. It is not enough to think or speak empty words. What you engrave with emotion and repetition in your heart is what manifests in your life. Self-decree, a tool for reprogramming. Self-decree is the act of confidently pronouncing an affirmation aloud or internally that you wish to become law in your life. Just as a judge issues a ruling that must be obeyed, your words, charged with faith and repetition, become mandates that your inner mind executes without question. Most people have used self-decree against themselves. I always make mistakes. I'm never lucky. I'm no good at business. Every time you repeat these phrases, you engrave a negative order, and your mind, neutral and obedient, executes it, creating situations that confirm your words. Breaking the cycle of self-sabotage. Every cycle of self-sabotage begins with an internal word. To transform your life, change your words. Every affirmation is a brick. With them, you can build a prison or a palace. Identify the phrases you have used to limit yourself. Write them down and observe their power. Then replace them one by one with positive, direct decrees. Example: old decree, I cannot change. New decree, every day I change and grow with ease. The power of God works in me. Mirror self-decree exercise. Practice this exercise every morning and night. Stand in front of a mirror, look into your own eyes with love, not judgment, and speak clearly and confidently affirmations such as, I am worthy of all good. My word is law for my subconscious mind. God created me in His image and likeness. I respect and love myself. I declare health, prosperity, and joy in my life now. Do it slowly, feeling each word. If resistance arises, persist. Do not fight the emotion. Repeat the decree until your mind accepts it as its own. Repetition is the mother of mental habit. Biblical affirmations and their mental explanation. The Bible, read as a book of mental laws, is full of powerful decrees. Consider these examples. Say to the weak, I am strong. Isaiah 35:3-10. Here, weakness is not denied, but replaced by a decree of strength. Affirming, I am strong, allows the subconscious to mobilize energy, health, and vigor. According to your faith, let it be done to you. Matthew 9:29. Faith is accepting the word as real before seeing it manifest. What you decree and accept becomes law. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. In terms of mental law, you can do all things because divine intelligence works in you, and nothing limits you except your own words. Clinical stories. Remember the man who suffered insomnia for years. He had unknowingly decreed, I can never sleep well. In consultation, I taught him to reverse the decree. Each night, before sleeping, he repeated quietly, I sleep deeply. My sleep is restorative. My mind rests in peace. Within a week, his insomnia disappeared. His mind obeyed the new command. Another example, a woman who always became ill before an important event. Her decree was, whenever something good happens, something bad happens to me. I suggested she replace it with, all good multiplies in my life. My health is perfect. I enjoy every blessing. The negative pattern broke in less than a month. Practical rules for self-decree. Use the present tense. Subconscious mind acts in the now. Say I am, not I will be. Be brief and direct. Use simple phrases. I can, I deserve, I am healthy. Accompany words with emotion. Feel what you say. Emotion fixes the idea. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Constant repetition is the key to all reprogramming. Make it a daily routine in front of the mirror, upon waking and before sleeping. Summary and call to action. Your word is the seed. Your mind is the field. Your life is the harvest. Decide today which seeds you will plant. Each time you catch yourself saying something negative, stop and decree the opposite. Make self-decree a habit, and watch as your obedient and powerful mind transforms your reality from within. There is no magic or luck. Used with faith and consistency, the word is the key to all lasting change. The law never fails. Repeat with me. My word is law for my mind. Today I plant success, health, and joy. The harvest is certain. Chapter 5. The Mirror of True Reality. There is a simple instrument within everyone's reach that can reveal your true nature and break, once and for all, the chains of limitation. That instrument is the mirror. Used wisely, the mirror becomes a gateway to your real self, to the perfect and complete being that God placed within you. Do not fear looking at yourself. Do not flee from your reflection. Here, you will learn to see yourself with new eyes, to discover the divine spark burning deep within, and to declare with faith and power, I am made in the image and likeness of God. The mirror, more than a reflection, a test of reality. Every morning and night, most people pass in front of a mirror, yet few pause to contemplate in silence the mystery revealed there. The physical mirror reflects only the outer image, but the true exercise is to look beyond the surface and connect with the spiritual reality that sustains you. Your subconscious accepts the image repeated before the mirror as truth. If you have spent years criticizing yourself while looking, that criticism has been recorded as a decree. But you can also use the mirror to plant the image of your ideal self, the image God Himself conceived for you. Morning and evening mirror exercise. Each morning and night, find a place where you can be alone for a few minutes. Stand before the mirror, relax your shoulders, breathe deeply, and allow your face to rest without tension. Look into your eyes, not your physical flaws. Seek the spark within, that unmistakable light every human carries. Stay silent for a few moments. Acknowledge the living presence in your gaze. Clearly declare, I am made in the image and likeness of God. Divine life expresses itself through me. Today, I allow my real self to shine and bless the world. Repeat each phrase, feeling its truth, even if your mind initially resists. The habit of criticism dissolves through contemplation and blessing. Discovering the divine spark. Do not seek physical perfection, seek the spiritual perfection that dwells within you. The Bible says, so God created man in His own image. In the image of God He created him. Genesis 1:27. This is not dogma. It is a statement of spiritual law. Deep within every person lives the imprint of the divine, the original pattern of health, beauty, and power. When you look into your eyes with respect and affirm your true nature, the subconscious begins replacing the old image with the new. Day by day, the internally recorded image reflects in your body, posture, and external results. Psychophysical explanation: how the mirror works in your mind. Physically, a mirror simply reflects light from a polished surface. Mentally, the mirror is a powerful self-affirmation mechanism. What you repeat with emotion in front of the mirror is recorded by your mind as reality. Science has shown that mental habits are fixed faster when associated with visual images and emotions. The mirror combines both. You see your face, feel the force of your words, and the brain, the organ of habit, responds by creating new circuits, new pathways of thought. Just as metal reflects only what it receives, your mind can only reflect the image you repeatedly give it. If each day you see yourself as the image and likeness of God, that will be the pattern your subconscious manifests in your health, relationships, and prosperity. Analogy of reflected metal. Imagine a sheet of pure silver. If polished, it reflects light flawlessly. If tarnished, the image is distorted. Your mind is that metal. If you have polished it with criticism, reproach, and judgment, the reflection is unclear. If you clean it daily with the affirmation of your true nature, it will soon reflect only light, power, and beauty. The mirror, then, is your daily tool to polish the metal of your mind and restore its original shine. Documented cases. I recall the testimony of a young man who, after years of self-rejection, began practicing this exercise. At first, he could barely hold his gaze, feeling shame, anger, even tears. But he persisted. Within 2 weeks, he began noticing changes. His posture was straighter, his voice firmer, habitual sadness fading. 3 months later, not only did his environment notice his new confidence, but people began treating him with more respect and admiration. Another woman, after a painful divorce, rediscovered her value in front of the mirror. I refused to look at myself. I thought I had lost everything, she wrote. But when she began saying, I am made in the image and likeness of God, something new awakened within her. She regained her peace, her joy, and over time, her love life was renewed. These cases are not arbitrary miracles. They are the inevitable result of a spiritual law. What you contemplate with faith, that you become. Genesis and its inner meaning. Genesis 1:27 is not merely an ancient phrase. God created man in his image. Translated into mental law, your essential self is perfect, complete, and capable. Every imperfection is a temporary veil, never the truth of your being. Every time you look in the mirror, repeat with conviction, I am made in the image and likeness of God. I reflect the health, power, and beauty of my divine origin. Practical summary. Dedicate a few minutes each morning and night to the mirror exercise. Look into your eyes with love and respect, without judging physical flaws. Clearly affirm your true spiritual nature. Feel the emotion of that truth. Allow the new image to imprint deeply. Persist. Consistency transforms the mind and with it reality. Remember, the mirror can only return what you give it. Give love, acceptance, and recognition to your real self, and your external life will soon reflect the splendor of your ideal self. Look into the light in your eyes and walk each day as the perfect being you already are within. Chapter 6. Overcoming subjective obstacles. Every person at some point faces barriers in life. Persistent illnesses, repeated failures, relationships that don't flourish, dreams that seem impossible. Many believe the obstacle lies outside, in the world, circumstances, or other people. However, mental law is clear and decisive. Every external barrier has its root in an inner belief. There is no obstacle on your path that has not first taken root in your subconscious. Today you will learn to untie the mental knots that bind you. Just as a rope can become tangled and hinder progress, your mind can become trapped in old ideas, fears, and painful memories. The method presented here is your tool to clear the field and free the creative energy of your ideal self. Parable of the knot and the rope. Imagine a long, strong rope meant to hoist a sail on a ship. If the rope has a tight knot, the sail won't rise. No matter how much you push the mast or how strong the wind blows, progress is impossible until you untie the knot. The experienced sailor does not curse the wind or give up. He searches for the knot, studies it, and patiently unties it. Your limiting beliefs are those knots. Fear, discouragement, and past memories are the tension points, preventing the image of your ideal self from rising and guiding your life. Do not condemn yourself for having knots. All of us have them. But today is the day to learn to undo them. The inner witness method. The first step to overcoming any subjective obstacle is to become the witness of your thoughts. The inner witness is that part of you that can observe what is happening in your mind without identifying with it or fighting it. When fear arises, you are not the fear. You are the observer of the fear. When sadness appears, you are not the sadness. You are the one witnessing it. Exercise. Sit in silence and observe what thought or emotion arises when facing an obstacle. Instead of fighting it, say quietly, "I see fear in my mind. I observe discouragement. Here is a painful memory." Breathe deeply and affirm, "I am the witness. I choose to release this knot now." By separating your identity from the problem, your subconscious begins to release the old pattern and open space for new ideas. Belief annulment exercise. To thoroughly clear your mental field, use the following technique. Identify the limiting belief, for example, "I always fail in my projects." Write it on a sheet of paper, read it and observe it without fear or criticism. Tear it or burn it in a symbolic act while repeating, "This belief no longer belongs to me. I release it and make space for truth." Replace it with a positive decree. "Success is my nature. Each day I move forward with ease and confidence." Repeat this exercise for every knot you detect. Remember, every belief can be replaced. Resolutive prayer, clearing the mental field. The resolutive prayer is a simple yet powerful formula to cut any subconscious knot at its root. It is not a plea, it is a command to the subconscious. Example prayer. Now I acknowledge the presence of fear, discouragement, pain in my mind. I bless it and release it. The love and wisdom of God fill my mind and heart. I choose to move forward free, secure, and at peace. Repeat this prayer whenever an obstacle arises. With consistency, the subconscious obeys, and old emotions lose their power. Examples of radical change. A man came to me after years of stage fright. Since childhood, he had believed he was unworthy of being heard. Using the inner witness method, he began identifying the knot each time fear arose before speaking. He repeated the resolutive prayer, and gradually the fear dissipated. Within 6 months, he was confidently leading meetings with joy. Another woman, burdened by a painful memory of rejection, believed no one would ever love her. She practiced the annulment exercise, wrote the belief down, tore it up, and each day repeated, "I am loved, I am welcome, I am enough." Within weeks, she experienced a transformation in her social and family life. Anonymous testimonials. Many radio listeners have shared astonishing changes. One confessed, "All my life I feared business until I realized it was a belief inherited from my father. I recognized it, released it, and began to prosper like never before." Another listener shared, "After forgiving a painful memory, it felt as if a cloud lifted. Everything began to flow. Money and health returned to my life." Practical summary. Become the witness of your thoughts and emotions. Identify the mental knot, fear, discouragement, or painful memory, and acknowledge it without judgment. Perform the annulment exercise. Write it down, destroy it, and decree the opposite. Use the resolutive prayer to fill your mental space with peace and security. Replace every negative belief with a positive affirmation, repeated daily. Remember, no knot is so tight that your inner power cannot undo it. Every subjective obstacle is merely a belief that can be released. With consistency, your mental field will become clean and fertile, allowing your ideal self to grow and express fully. Every external barrier dissolves when the inner mind is freed. The law never fails. Chapter 7, The Mental Album. Your New Written Identity. Every deep transformation needs an anchor, a physical reminder that keeps the vision alive when doubts and old habits try to return. Today, I will teach you how to create your mental album, a sacred notebook where each page becomes the written photograph of your ideal self. Just as an architect draws the blueprint before constructing a building, you will write, in detail, the portrait of your new identity until it becomes your daily reality. Why write? The power of creative writing. The subconscious mind responds powerfully to the written word. When you write, you engage body, mind, and emotion. The physical act of writing engraves the new image deeply, turning a simple desire into an inner command. Your notebook is your field of sowing. Each line is a seed. Remember, what you write with faith and emotion in the present, your mind accepts as fact. Step-by-step guide to creating your mental album. Choose a special notebook. It should appeal to you visually and be dedicated only to this purpose. Decorate it, add your name, and a powerful phrase on the cover such as, "My ideal self already lives within me." Write a declaration of intention on the first page. Example, from today, this notebook is the record of my new identity. Everything I describe here already exists in the inner plane and manifests in my outer life according to divine law. Dedicate each page to an aspect of your ideal self. You can have pages for health, relationships, work, prosperity, character, and qualities. Always write in present tense as if you already live that reality. Example, I wake up every morning full of energy and gratitude. My body is healthy, strong, and harmonious. I enjoy relationships full of love and respect. My work inspires me and brings me joy. Money flows to me easily and with purpose. I am confident, kind, and capable. Add sensory and emotional details. How do you feel living this way? What do you see, hear, smell, or touch? Example, I walk down the street with my head held high, breathe deeply, and feel peace and lightness in my body. I meet the eyes of others with a serene smile. Read your album every night before sleep and every morning upon waking. Allow the words to awaken emotion and visualize, even for a moment, the scene you described. Update and expand your album as your vision evolves. If an aspect has manifested, write it down and give thanks. If new goals arise, add them. Example pages. Health. My body is full of vitality. Every cell radiates perfect health. I feel renewed energy from the moment I wake. My digestion is optimal. I enjoy movement and care for my nutrition with love. Relationships. I surround myself with loving and sincere people. My words inspire and heal. I receive affection with joy and give it without reservation. My family is united and at peace. Disagreements are resolved with wisdom and understanding. Professional success. I perform my work with passion and excellence. Every day I learn and grow. I am recognized and valued for my contributions. Success is part of my life. New opportunities come to me with ease. Character. I'm courageous in the face of challenges. I act with serenity and confidence. My faith in myself is unwavering. I enjoy discipline and consistency. I choose positive thoughts and release all judgment. Fragments of decrees. Include short, powerful affirmations on each page. You can write them in capital letters or highlight them with color to strengthen their effect. Inspirational stories. I have witnessed miracles occur simply through writing a new identity. A young woman trapped in shyness began writing in her mental album. I express myself clearly and freely. I enjoy meeting new people. I speak in public with calm. Weeks later, she participated in meetings, and within months she was giving motivational talks in her community. A man who constantly felt lack wrote, I live in abundance. Money and opportunities come to me in unexpected ways. I am grateful and generous. Soon he received a promotion and an independent project that doubled his income. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what you imagine with emotion and repetition. The subconscious receives the written order as fact, and the mental law ensures its manifestation. Rules for reading and rereading. Read aloud or silently, but with full attention. Feel each sentence is true, even if your reason initially resists. Visualize, even for a few seconds, the scene described. Repeat again and again. The repetition fixes the image in the creative reservoir of your mind. Practical summary. Choose your notebook and dedicate it as your mental album. Write your new identity, detailing each aspect in the present tense. Read it daily and update it as you grow. Make this habit your inner anchor on days of doubt or challenge. Remember, your outer life cannot help but reflect the content of your mental album. Sow with detail, joy, and faith. What you write here with love and consistency will become the abundant harvest of your life. The law never fails. What you write with faith, the universe transforms into reality. Chapter 8. From Visualization to Manifestation. Nothing in your life happens by chance. Every experience, every success, and every challenge is the faithful fruit of a mental image sown and cultivated in the creative reservoir of your subconscious. Just as a gardener patiently observes a seed becoming a plant, you can observe and accelerate the process by which your mental images manifest in physical reality. This chapter will guide you step by step on how visualization, emotion, and repetition transform the invisible into the visible. You will discover why a 90-day cycle is sufficient to install a new self-image and see that science and spiritual law not only complement each other, but also explain the everyday miracle of manifestation. The parable of the sower, a model of the process. Remember Jesus' parable. A sower went out to sow. Some seeds fell on fertile ground and produced multiplied fruit. Matthew 13:3-8. The sower is your conscious mind. The seed is your mental image, and the field is your subconscious. If the seed is good and the soil is well prepared, the fruit is inevitable. In practical terms, visualization is planting the seed. Emotion is the fertilizer that nourishes it. Repetition is the daily watering that ensures growth. Nothing in nature bears fruit instantly. Every process has cycles, times, and unchanging laws. The scientific cycle of manifestation. Modern science confirms what spiritual sages have long known. The human brain is plastic. It can change its connections and habits when exposed to repeated stimuli over time. Neurologists have observed that, on average, it takes 90 days of consistent practice to install a new mental pattern, whether a thought, habit, or belief. When you repeat an emotionally charged mental image, your brain forms new neural pathways, like a river carving its channel through repeated flow. Over time, this becomes the preferred path for thoughts and emotions, until the new replaces the old. The role of sleep and nighttime repetition. Sleep is the moment of greatest mental plasticity. During sleep, the defenses of the conscious mind lower, and the subconscious absorbs without resistance what you most recently thought or felt. This is why nighttime visualization is the secret to profound change. What you imagine and feel just before sleeping, your subconscious takes as a command to organize your life the next day. Nighttime repetition guide. Before sleeping, sit quietly, breathe deeply, and review a clear image of your ideal self. Feel the emotion of already living that reality. This is not pretending. It is allowing yourself to experience the desired state internally. Do this every night without interruption for 90 days. If you miss a day, do not punish yourself. Continue the next night. Mentally express gratitude as if it is already done. Gratitude accelerates the manifestation process. Example, plant experiment. Imagine a simple experiment. 2 identical pots with the same soil and seeds. One is watered and cared for daily, the other is neglected. The first sprouts and grows, the second withers and dies. The same applies to your mental images. Only those you nurture with attention, emotion, and repetition grow and manifest. In real experiments, plants exposed to positive words, music, and thoughts grow faster and healthier than those exposed to neglect or negative words. If this is true for plants without conscious minds, how much more true is it for you, a creator by nature? Citations from popular science. Neuroscience confirms the brain is a habit machine. Repeat a new image for 90 days and it becomes part of you. Sports psychology documents that elite athletes visualize the perfect movement repeatedly before execution, and the body adapts to the internal image. Quantum physics studies show the observer influences outcomes. What you expect and hold with faith tends to manifest in the physical plane. Faith is not superstition, it is spiritual science in action. According to your faith, be it done unto you. Manifestation. Visualization alone is not enough. Manifestation results from persistence. Every night of visualization, every page of your mental album, every affirmation spoken is a drop that carves the stone. After 90 days, these drops have created a channel through which new experiences flow. 3 keys to accelerate the process. Consistency. Do not abandon the practice. The field responds to faithful sowing. Emotion. Feel it beyond thinking. Emotion is the fertilizer that accelerates growth. Gratitude. Give thanks as if you have already received. Gratitude seals the process. Practical summary. Visualize each night, feel the emotion, and repeat for 90 days. Nurture your mental image like a plant, with attention and love. Use sleep as your ally. What you sow before sleep, your mind processes silently. Rely on science. The brain responds to sustained repetition and emotion. Trust the process. Mental law is as exact as gravity. Remember the parable. The sower does not doubt the fruit when planting the seed. He knows the harvest will come in its time. What you visualize with faith, emotion, and consistency will, sooner or later, become reality. The law never fails. Chapter 9. The Grace of Self-Acceptance. The most powerful seed can remain sterile if the soil rejects it. Likewise, the brightest mind and the most detailed visualization can remain barren if your inner self does not accept change. Acceptance is the fertilizer of all transformation. Without acceptance, there is no lasting growth, no miracle that prospers. Today, you will learn how to stop struggling with yourself, how to embrace yourself in the present, and how compassion accelerates all true change. The silent power of self-acceptance. Perhaps you have planted new images written in your mental album, repeated affirmations, yet still see no changes. Ask yourself sincerely, am I willing to accept myself just as I am, here and now? Many repeat decrees, but deep inside they reject themselves, criticize themselves, and compare themselves to others. Internal struggle is like rocky soil. It prevents the seed from taking root. The first miracle happens when, instead of fighting your flaws, you look at yourself with understanding, not resignation, but humble recognition. Today, I accept myself where I am. I acknowledge my value, my story, and my effort. I bless my present because it is the only point from which I can grow. The agricultural metaphor, soil that accepts. Think of the farmer. He never curses the land for being imperfect. He cares for it, fertilizes it, accepts it as it is, and from there begins the cultivation process. If he finds stones, he removes them patiently. If he sees weeds, he pulls them out with care, but he never stops loving his field. The land, when well treated, responds generously. Similarly, your mind flourishes only when it is accepted and blessed. If you reject yourself, you stagnate. If you accept yourself, you grow and bear fruit. Self-blessing exercise. Each morning upon waking and each night before sleeping, place a hand over your heart, close your eyes, and softly repeat, I fully accept myself here and now. I bless my body, my thoughts, and my emotions. Today I choose to be my best friend. I accompany myself with compassion. Feel the warmth of your hand as an act of reconciliation. If a critical thought arises, do not repress it. Observe it internally. This is part of me, and I embrace it with love. Practice this exercise for 7 days and notice the calm and tenderness beginning to bloom within you. Self-love affirmations. Make self-acceptance your new inner dialogue. Plant these affirmations in the field of your mind. I love and respect myself as I am. Each day I am more compassionate with myself. I forgive my mistakes, learn, and move forward. I deserve the best in life because my essence is divine. Repeat these affirmations while looking in the mirror, as taught in previous chapters, or write them in your mental album. Compassion, the engine of lasting change. Compassion is the energy that dissolves resistance and softens the rough edges of character. No one changes through self-punishment. Transformation comes to those who look at themselves with tenderness and give themselves permission to move forward even with imperfections. Jesus taught, love your neighbor as yourself. Self-love is not selfishness. It is the root of all true love. Compassion accelerates change because it relaxes the mind and allows new images to find fertile ground. When you give yourself permission to fail, to feel fear or sadness, those feelings lose power and no longer block your path. Case study: a young woman overcoming shyness. Let me share a real example. A young woman marked by ridicule and rejection since childhood was dominated by shyness. She tried affirmations and exercises, but her mind repeated, "I am worthless. I am invisible." Working together, I asked her to allow herself to be courageous, and each morning, instead of demanding perfection, to say, "Today I allow myself to be as I am. I accept myself with my fear, with my trembling voice. I don't have to prove anything." At first she cried. Self-compassion felt strange and sweet. Gradually her inner tension disappeared. One day in class she raised her hand. Later she spoke before a small group. Within months, she joyfully shared her experiences publicly. She did not force change. She allowed it through self-acceptance and compassion. Her mind, once hardened by judgment, became fertile. The harvest was abundant. Practical summaries: stop struggling with yourself and acknowledge your value here and now. Perform the self-blessing exercise every morning and night. Plant self-love affirmations in your inner dialogue. Allow yourself to advance even with mistakes. Remember the agricultural metaphor. Fertile soil is soil that accepts. The grace of self-acceptance is the miracle that transforms every effort into growth, every seed into fruit. Love your process, bless your present, and life will respond with unexpected growth. The law never fails. Self-acceptance is the fertilizer that turns your ideal self into living reality. Chapter 10. Consolidating the Ideal Self, the 90-Day Review. True growth requires patience and consistency. A strong tree does not sprout overnight. It needs full seasons of care, observation, and dedication. Likewise, your ideal self, planted and nourished in your mind, needs a conscious period of maturation to consolidate as a new reality. This period, proven by experience, is a 90-day cycle. These 90 days are not just a count. They are a living process of observation, adjustment, and perseverance. Here, you will learn how to stay on track, review your progress, overcome setbacks, and most importantly, discover the joy of sharing and multiplying your blessings. A 90-day commitment. Make a real commitment within yourself today. Decide to dedicate the next 90 days to consolidating your ideal self. You do not need complicated tools or elaborate rituals, just the determination to practice, review, and celebrate every step, no matter how small. Each day upon waking and before sleeping, spend a few minutes reflecting. Did I visualize my ideal self today? Did I read or recall a page from my mental album? Did I repeat my affirmations with conviction? Did I notice any progress, even minor? Did any difficulties or setbacks appear? Do not judge your responses. The goal is to observe and adjust, not condemn or punish yourself. If you miss a day, simply resume the next. Consistency, not perfection, is the secret to real progress. How to review and adjust your process. During these 90 days, ups and downs are natural. Some days will be full of enthusiasm, others of doubt. In those moments, review your path with love and objectivity. Recall your initial motivations. Reimagine how you will look, feel, and act when your ideal self is fully manifested. Review your achievements, no matter how small. Each step forward deserves recognition. Appreciate each change, each act of courage, each renewed thought. If a setback appears, or old habit or negative emotion, do not stop. Simply observe, appreciate the learning, and reaffirm your commitment. Fertile ground is cultivated repeatedly, not a field that never faced stones. The power of construction, sharing, multiplies your blessing. Remember the ancient parable of the talents. The one who multiplies what he has received is truly blessed. Your change is not just for you. As you consolidate your ideal self, you have the duty and joy of sharing what you have learned. Offer words of encouragement to those in need. Share your own transformation, even if you are still in progress. Listen to others, offer understanding, and pass it on. You do not need long speeches. Sometimes a single phrase of hope, a simple testimony, can plant a seed of change in another heart. When you serve and uplift others, the mental law works in two ways. Your own process strengthens and accelerates. The good you give returns multiplied. What to do on difficult days? Do not fear cloudy days. Every journey has overcast mornings. When your spirits falter, listen again to your recorded affirmations or visualizations. Let your own voice support you. Recall an achievement, however small, and celebrate it. Perform a small act of kindness for someone else. Service reconnects you with your purpose and releases you from mental confinement. Take a few minutes to give thanks for your progress. and bless your present. Gratitude is the water that sustains the roots of your new life. Consolidation, the fruit of consistency. Miracles do not always announce themselves with thunder. Often the deepest change is the one that occurs quietly, day by day, irreversibly. Like a river constantly shaping the rock, your daily practice permanently transforms your destiny. On day 90, pause and look back. Recognize the ground you have traversed. Honor each step, each fallen challenge overcome, each moment of effort. Feel proud of your commitment. If there are still areas to transform, continue. The mental law is generous with those who persist. Summary and final call. Commit to your 90-day consolidation journey. Review your practices every morning and night without judgment. Just observe and adjust. Give thanks for every advance and learn from each setback. Multiply your blessing by sharing your experience and encouraging others on their path. Remember, the fruit only comes to those who cultivate with consistency and faith. The law never fails. Perseverance, review, and service consolidate your ideal self, making your new identity a permanent reality for you and for the world. Chapter 11. Your ideal self is your destiny. We have walked together along a path of discovery, sowing, and transformation. Now it is time to reveal the highest truth. Your ideal self is not just a hope or an illusion. It is your inevitable destiny, sealed by the mental law, as long as you persist in faith and practice. The being you have visualized, the perfect image you have cultivated within, already exists on the spiritual and mental plane. Your task has been to clear obstacles, prepare the soil, and keep the vision alive. You have learned that each affirmation, each night of visualization, each act of self-acceptance is another step toward the total manifestation of your ideal self. The ideal self as law and destiny. Do not fear that this is only a fleeting dream. What the heart embraces and the mind maintains, the universe converts into visible experience. The mental law is as exact as the law of gravity. According to your faith it shall be done to you. Matthew 9:29. What you have believed with emotion and consistency manifests inevitably in its time. You are not a prisoner of your past, nor a slave to old limitations. The ideal self you have described, felt, affirmed, and lived in your imagination is your certain destiny. Nothing and no one can take away what you have sown in faith and maintained with perseverance. Staying in alignment, living from the new image. The secret to continuous miracles is to live each day from your new image, not from the memory of your old self. Do not turn back. Each morning, before stepping into the world, remember who you are now. You are made in the image and likeness of God. You are worthy, capable, loved, and blessed. You deserve all good by natural law. Act, decide, and speak as your ideal self, even if your surroundings do not yet reflect it fully. Both your mind and the external world need time to adjust to the new mold. Stay in the vision. The harvest is certain. When doubts or difficulties arise, return to your exercises. Read your mental album, affirm your truth before the mirror, visualize the outcome as already achieved, and give thanks as if it were done. Gratitude is the key that keeps the channel of manifestation open. Expect continuous miracles. A miracle is not an extraordinary event reserved for a few. A miracle is the natural result of the well-applied mental law. Every progress, every fortunate coincidence, every act of love received is a sign that your new sowing is flourishing. Live attentively and celebrate each small miracle as the announcement of a great harvest. Your life from now on will be fertile ground where miracles are not only possible, they are inevitable. The only condition is to maintain faith, renew your practice, and hold your vision unwaveringly. Closing prayer. Take a moment of silence. Close your eyes, place your hand on your heart, and say inwardly, Father, Mother of life, infinite source of good, I acknowledge and accept my ideal self as my true being. I give thanks for every step, every lesson, and every blessing received on this path. I remain in faith, certain that my destiny is sealed by your perfect law. Today I choose to live and manifest the fullness, love, peace, and success that are already mine. I bless my present and my future and share my light with the world. Amen. Final affirmations. Repeat daily with conviction and joy. I am the living expression of my ideal self. What I imagine with faith and emotion I manifest in my reality. My word is law for my mind, and my mind is the helm of my destiny. Each day I advance in power, wisdom, love, and prosperity. I share my light, joy, and abundance with all. Summary of steps. You discovered the internal image that governs your life. You identified and released limiting beliefs. You practiced visualization, affirmation, and self-acceptance. You created your mental album and used it as a daily anchor. You consolidated your change during 90 days of consistent practice. You decided to multiply your blessing by serving and encouraging others. Now you recognize that your ideal self is your inevitable destiny. Final call. Share the light you have received. Do not keep this treasure only for yourself. The world needs men and women living from their ideal self, radiating faith, kindness, and hope. Your example is a seed that can transform lives. Share your experience, support others, inspire with your words and presence. Always remember the law never fails. What you have sown within will manifest in your life and in the lives of those you touch with your light. Your ideal self is already yours. Make it life, make it destiny, make it a blessing for the world.